Ayo and Binta were born without sight. Life was unkind to the blind. They were often cast aside, labeled as burdens to their families. But Ayo and Binta were different. They refused to be victims of their circumstances. Against all odds, they found each other, falling in love, not through sight, but through the deep understanding of each other's heart. Their union was met with skepticism. How can two blind people survive, let alone thrive? The villagers whispered. But Aya and Binta were determined to prove everyone wrong. They worked tirelessly to carve a life for themselves. Aya became a master sculptor, his hands guided by touch and instinct, crafting works of art that captured the soul of life itself. Binta, with her delicate fingers, wove intricate fabrics whose pattern told stories more vivid than words. Together, they earned a modest living, gaining the respect of some, but the doubts of many lingered. Life, however, had more tests in store. Years into their marriage, Binta discovered that she was pregnant. The news spread like wildfire, stirring mixed reactions. Some were joyous, but others were cruel. How will blind parents raise a child? They'll only bring misery upon themselves and the child, said a neighbor, her voice dripping with disdain. Their pregnancy journey was fraught with difficulties. Binta's blindness made it impossible to see her swollen feet or the stretch marks on her belly, but Ayo was her eyes. He learned to feel for signs of distress, listening intently to the baby's heartbeat during their quiet evening. They braved the uncertainty together, relying on their unbreakable bond. When the day of delivery came, tragedy struck. The village midwife hesitated, fearing the risk of delivering twins for a blind woman. Hours turned into harrowing nights as Binta fought for her life. Finally, the cries of two newborns broke the silence, a boy, Kehinde, and a girl, Taiwo. Though exhausted, Binta held her babies, tears streaming down her face. "They are perfect," Aya whispered. Though he could not see them, God has blessed us with two angels. Parenthood was a mountain they climbed with trembling hands and unwavering resolve. Kainde and Taiwo, born with the gift of sight, became their parents' lifelines. As toddlers, they learned early to guide their mother's hand to the cooking pot or describe the colors of their father's carvings. Ayo and Binta, in turn, taught their children resilience and gratitude. But not everyone in the village was kind. Kehinde and Taiwo often endured taunts from other children. "Your parents are blind. How can they take care of you?" they sneered. Taiwo, brave and fiery, would shout back, "Our parents do more with their hands than your parents do with their eyes." The twins grew up watching their parents endure humiliation and hardship with quiet dignity. Ayo and Binta never lashed out but instead worked harder. Slowly, the twins understood the silent strength of their parents. It was not just about surviving, it was about rising above. When the twins were 12, tragedy struck again. A severe drought gripped the village, killing crops and plunging families into despair. Food was scarce and money was scarcer. Ayo and Binta, already living on the earth, struggled to keep their children fed. Binta cried quietly at night, blaming herself for bringing her children into such suffering. One day, Binta collapsed from exhaustion from while weaving. Her hands, hers only source of livelihood, were too blistered to continue. Ayo, overwhelmed with guilt, broke down. "I have failed you," he whispered to his wife. "I have failed our children." But Kehinde and Taiwo refused to let their parents give up. They devised a plan to take their parents' work to the city, where they believed the value of their artistry would be truly appreciated. With the help of a neighbor, The twins transported Ayo's carving and Binta's fabric to an art exhibition. The city was a world unlike anything Kehinde and Taiwo had imagined. The bright lights and bustling cities were overwhelming, but they were determined. At the exhibition, their parents' work stood out. Ayo's carving seemed to tell untold stories, and Binta's fabric wove dreams into reality. The crowd was captivated. By the end of the day, the twins had sold everything. The money they earned was enough to feed their family for months. But what mattered more was the recognition. People were astonished to learn that two blind artists had created such masterpiece. When Kaida and Taiwo returned to the village with the earnings, Ayo and Binte broke down in tears. You have given us back our hope, Binta whispered. With the money, the family built a small workshop where Ayo and Binta continued their craft, now aided by their children. Kende became a painter inspired by his father's carvings, while Taiwo incorporated her mother's weaving pattern into fashion. Together, they became a symbol of resilience and creativity, not just for their village, but for everyone who heard their story. Years later, when the twins grew up older, they shared their family story far and wide. Their message was simple but powerful: limitations are only in the mind. Love, resilience, and unity can overcome even the darkest of circumstances. Ayo and Binta, though blind, had given their children something more valuable than sight, a vision for life. Their story became a legacy, teaching generation that strength comes not from what you see, but from what you believe. We've come to the end of this story. I hope you did enjoy it. If this is your first time of turning in, you're highly welcome. For my returning subscribers,